Greetings, adventurers! As we get closer to the spooky season, we're proud to inform you that Domain of the Nameless God and the True Necromancer class for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, both versions, are now available for purchase on darkdice.com. That's right, this very moment you can pick up both books in time for the spooky season, and in the next weeks, we'll be adding some additional physical merch as well, like stickers, new shirt designs, and more, so be sure to check out darkdice.com, our brand new website, and help support the creation of this show. Also, a quick reminder that this episode features sections from the amazing horror adventure, The Madhouse of Tasha's Kiss by Jeff C. Stevens, used with permission, and will contain some spoilers for that adventure, though there is a lot of customization and work that goes through every playthrough, so in a sense our version will also be quite distinct. Finally, thank you to everyone who came out to our first ever live show at World's Lair in London. It was so very amazing to meet you all, to high-five everyone, and it was great seeing and playing in person with the cast of Dark Dice. We got so very close to a total party kill, and it was a blast having an audience join us for all of the festivities. Well, enough of me gushing about how much I appreciate you all, and I really do. One final note is to really check the content warnings with this episode because it's going to get traumatic. And with that out of the way, let's get started.
Shalis de pace, Salis.
Do you seek him?
Do you seek him?
Do you seek him?
Do you seek him?
Do you seek the Nameless God?
You have found yourself among those who roll the dark dice. What you are about to hear happened long ago. A story brought back from the edge of oblivion, dutifully transcribed, and enhanced orally to better captivate your attention. Previously, a team of adventurers came across a ghost town and descended into the depths of a magical wagon toward Tasha's madhouse. After being sorted and separated, they will soon discover what terrors await them. Dark Dice, The Long Road, Chapter 23, The Chimera's Bargain. Glom and Gaelle Vogelberg, Ildrex and Klymoore, their traveling half-elf companion, watched in terrified silence as Soren Arkwright, the human ranger, passed through the other portal. And, after the old woman before them passed through their own portal, stood before the swirling morass. Their way out had long vanished, and so they could only traverse deeper into whatever hells this place would take them toward.
Alright, let's do this thing.
Ildrex stepped through first, and the team followed closely behind, discovering that their feet failed to land on the other side, as all at once they began to free fall. And fall they did. 10 seconds passed, 20, 30, a full minute of falling, and they required sanity saving throws.
Is this me as well? Just checking.
No, Soren was fine. He was having a great time.
Sure thing.
18 for Ildrex.
2.
4.
As Gaelle and Glom gained 10 stress from this nightmarish experience, they suddenly woke up on the floor of a strange room.
Where are we?
Some kind of maze of mirrors. Different paths. But more worrisome. I don't like what I'm seeing in these reflections. Especially after what that boy said about mirror demons.
Well, apparently it can get creepier.
Okay, when we get out of this, if we get out of this, we are never going down dark stairs ever again.
Sure, yeah, that seems like it checks out.
Yep, had to open the wardrobe, didn't you?
This whole room is just a friggin' hallway of mirrors.
Oh, there's different branches, it's a maze, great.
So we are in an amusement park hall of mirrors, basically.
I've never seen a hall of mirrors, but I'll trust your word on it.
No discernible tracks. I can't tell where anyone's been. Oh, the old woman is here at least.
I've seen this sort of thing before, when I was younger.
Well, you got out, so that must be good.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yep. Are you a dragon?
Yeah, I'm a dragonborn. But, yeah, we can say that now, right? Travis is nodding. D&D finally dropped the trademark on that one, so Scale Skin and Dragonborn will both work.
Do you have a dragon heart? I guess you wouldn't tell me even if you did. Never asked that.
No.
You know what? I'm old enough to be blunt. I can ask.
Yeah, no, not fully dragon. Don't really have the big rigmarole with needing all of the things. Very minimalist is the way I like to roll.
Sorry for the banter. We might have some pressing problems. Ma'am, your name is?
Graham works.
Graham, great. Can we smell blood or anything?
Just from your lip there.
Okay.
I have 16 grandchildren who all call me Graham.
Got it, Graham. Name's Ildrex.
Klymoore.
Hi.
This one understands.
Graham, would you mind moving behind the larger of us so you don't get hurt? Maybe between Glom and Gaelle and myself, just so you're safe. I don't want to see you get hurt.
The old woman complied with the suggestion, stepping between Glom and Klymoore, who seemed increasingly nervous as he glanced at the reflections in the mirror.
Graham says we're going to be fine down here, Klymoore.
You know, I hear you saying that, and I keep seeing things in my reflection that I don't rightly appreciate. Probably just best to keep on keeping on,
okay,
as they say.
All right. Anybody got we just want to spin something and see which way we're going?
We've got left, right, and straight. Take your pick.
Or we have a through.
You want to go through the mirrors?
Yeah, break a mirror.
Go for it.
Glom looked at the closest mirror, readying his sword, but what he saw stilled his actions, upset him. He saw Ildrex, Klymoore, and Graham, but then he saw himself. Only himself. Wearing a mix of his own clothing, but also Gaelle's. They both normally shared the same dark eyeliner, the same moisturizer, and even makeup sometimes. But now he was dressed up as his sister, as Gaelle. And as he met his own gaze, he could see the long red wig on his head fitting poorly. But then the image shifted as he looked at a different mirror, shifted to a more familiar version of Glom yelling at his sister, each sharing their deep-rooted hatred for one another as they bickered in a distant and different room in the reflection. Glom stared at these reflections perhaps too long, and they deeply disturbed him.
You all right there, Glom?
Yeah, these mirrors are a little weird.
So, which is it, Glom and Gaelle? Which way are we going?
The words of his friends felt even further away as Glom shifted his focus to a reflection that faced away from him in another mirror. And as this reflection turned to face him, Glom saw himself again wearing that wig, but dressed in the formal white garb of an esteemed knight, standing next to Sir Percy, a glorious sunrise cresting the horizon before an army that Glom somehow knew he led, would soon lead into a final charge into the very heart of the Darklands. He felt so comforted by this reflection, his hand unconsciously reached out to touch it, only stopped by Ildrex's interruption.
So, straight then?
Yeah, I think straight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be...
Gaelle?
Yeah? Are you okay?
No, I'm fine.
You seem quiet.
Fine, just don't look at that mirror there. Just let's go.
As they continued, Glom was repeatedly confronted by his lone reflection, wearing a mix of his clothes and Gaelle's. In one reflection, he became a prestigious wizard. No, that one only showed Gaelle, but distorted with Glom's features maybe? It was so confusing. In another, he was an inquisitor for Eastwood, a blade of Nellium, uncovering heretic plots on behalf of the faith. In another, he stood proudly under a beautiful, masterfully stitched banner of House Vogelberg. And in another, he saw himself as a pirate, swashbuckling and even at one point battling with an older Gaelle during a rough storm. He saw a brief crack in one mirror where his father didn't drink so much. One where he was just plain old Glom. Unremarkable, but maybe happier. This Glom never amounted to much of anything, and it looked like he very much wanted to catch enough fish for them to survive the coming winter.
Glom screams suddenly and just goes, ah! And tries to smash one of the mirrors.
Down.
I rolled a critical hit.
Glom shattered the mirror with his scimitar, revealing a stone wall behind it.
Well done, Glom. Well done.
Thanks.
I feel like that was a good idea.
Okay, well, through is out.
All right, straight it was. Until we freaked out there for a sec. You okay? You good?
I'm good. Gaelle?
All right.
Yeah, all good.
Does he always talk to himself like this?
You sort of get used to it.
I give Glom a little shoulder squeeze, just reassuring him before we move on.
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay.
Glom made the mistake of peeking at one of the mirrors as he moved and saw...
Oh god, let's move straight ahead. Let's just look at the ground.
Yes, let's go this way. Oh, by the way, makeup suits you. You should wear it more.
Failing a wisdom saving throw, Glom took one final peek, revealing a reflection. A world where his father was a kind and just man who loved his son more than anything else in the world. Their mother was gone in this version of the world, but the two men were happy and content, working together on their family trade.
Glom is silently crying as silently as he can as they walk forward.
Gaelle is continuing her walk, and I think what she's going to do, she's going to take her brother's hand and just give her brother's hand a squeeze and go, look, there's nothing here. Don't worry, just keep walking forward, look at the floor.
Just walking. Just walking.
Ildrex, however...
Yeah, I mean, I probably look.
Ildrex saw numerous versions of himself reflected in the mirrors all around him. One where he actually murdered his father in a drunken argument and followed roughly the same path thereafter. One where he found the killer instantly and had been exonerated by his clan, and what a powerful leader he had grown into. And one more, standing exactly where he was right now, but the expression, Ildrex's eyes, told him all that he needed to know. That he was a spy, sent by his clan to learn more about their human enemies to the north, and what great intel he'd gathered. When he reached a dead end, Ildrex saw himself disregard the teachings of the monks to pursue a life of crime. Another where he missed the monks entirely, instead meeting human trappers from the Bright Vale. Or in another, a hunting party from the Blackstone Forest. Trained as a huntsman, he had joined a band of elves and saw that his other self now wore strange armor that resembled a tangled weave of leaves. He thought he could almost hear the whisper of the clan name as he leaned his head closer.
If I touch the mirror, does anything happen? I'll do it.
Which one did Ildrex touch?
The huntsman one.
For those not playing the game, I just sent Russ a new character sheet for Ildrex of the Shadesteel Elves.
Shit.
Visually, he now wore a weave of leaf-like armor that fitted like a second set of skin or scales. His class shifted from monk to ranger. He was also given a new background with new experiences. He had always been Ildrex, and he had only known the life of a huntsman, not a monk. He had come across Soren's party much in the same way, when he was separated from his friends in the Dead Pines while searching for game one winter on a trading pilgrimage. And standing before Ildrex of the Shadesteel Elves, he could see a reflection of himself, dressed in the garb of a monk, curiously holding a flask, through which he drowned out the screams of the murdered family he had been framed and exiled from his clan for. That Ildrex swore that he'd find his family's murderers.
I touch it again.
Ildrex required a sanity saving throw.
15.
Gaining 15 stress.
Okay.
And because it's not cool to take this level of agency away from players in a D&D table, unwillingly, in such a long-lasting, gut-punch way, without player buy-in, Ildrex was now, or perhaps once again, the version of this hero that we've edited this show to match. We'll never tell.
Oh, perfect. I'll stop looking at the player's handbook then. Do I realize what has happened, or just my memory's shifted and now it's all good?
Let's say roll a d20. If it's over a 10, you know.
14.
Ildrex remembered, making the connection that these mirrors could apparently shift reality.
Yeah, let's not touch the mirrors. Glom, just saying, don't touch the mirrors. It's bad.
Don't look, don't touch. Don't look, don't touch. Don't look, don't touch.
Ildrex was unsure if Klymoore touched a mirror at any point, but felt confident that Glom did not. And after reaching another dead end, and backtracking before the path split to follow a new direction, the team continued in this manner for a few minutes more, until they reached a portal, much like the one they'd passed through earlier. Surrounded by mirrors that showed them alternate realities, some of which were so very appealing, Graham hesitantly reached toward one, before remembering the terrified shriek Ildrex gave when he'd done so, and reconsidered. She'd always longed to be a hero, but ultimately was unwilling to sacrifice her family. It was there they spotted a reflection, one where Ildrex led Glom, Klymoore, Graham, and Gaelle, who stood beside them, very much alive and well. Ildrex took a while to realize what he was looking at, as if a spell had broken all at once, opening his mouth to ask, but the words never formed.
That's just normal. Glom steps through the portal.
Gaelle's following then.
Yeah.
Klymoore and Graham followed. And now we return to our dearest human ranger, Soren Arkwright, who found himself in a different room at least a few moments before the team arrived to potentially rescue him, or not. I guess we're about to find out.
Oh boy.
Soren found himself within a workshop of sorts, a generally bare room, though a few humanoid corpses were piled into a corner, occasionally being pulled through a hole in the wall by curious fur-covered appendages. A bald and nearly naked giant hunched over, working a series of chains that wrapped around its arms in a pulling dance. The giant was leering and grinning, the far side of the chains ending in hooks which latched into a naked human's flesh. The gaps in the skin leaking an unnatural green miasma that formed an agonized, ghostly figure. The apparition of the shrieking human was pulled away from its identical body that watched on in laughter. Crates and tables topped with green glass-filled jars and rusty tools waited in a corner behind the giant. The agonized specter screamed again as the smiling farmer who stood just ahead of Soren raised his hand excitedly.
Oh, looks like fun! I'm next!
Soren couldn't help but smile back as the tortured spirit continued to scream, and its corresponding body laughed.
Oh, God, help me! Can you believe this guy? He's had like 5 minutes already. Let the rest of us have some fun, eh? Jeez, I hope I get to have that much fun.
The giant pulling the chains ignored the banter, so focused on the task. Soren, however, required a sanity saving throw.
Ooh, I'm all a-quiver. It's a 10 for the sanity check.
And he gained 15 stress, with a strange realization that he was probably okay with all of this. It felt like home, after all, in some strange way. For the sake of expediency, we'll say that after about a minute, the spirit was winnowed from the laughing man and collected into a small jar, which was sealed and placed onto the table by the giant, before the dead corpse was thrown into the pile with the others. The next person in line, the farmer in front of Soren, winked at Soren giddily as he undressed.
All right, it's my turn now.
The farmer moved into position and stood still as the barbed chains lashed him, hooking into his very soul and winnowing his flesh. It was at this moment that the team arrived, visibly upset by whatever they had experienced before reaching this new hell. They stared on in a deeper confusion as Soren giggled to himself with excitement at this grisly display.
Ildrex? Gaelle? Is it a little weird that I'm relieved to be seeing this?
Maybe?
Yeah.
With a 23, 18, and 19 on their respective sanity saving throws, the team was indeed relieved to see Soren, and so chose to focus on that.
Do we want to leave Soren in that line?
Hey, Soren, how you doing over there, bud?
Great, man, I'm next.
Oh, great. Hey, there was this cool thing over here. Maybe you wanted to come check that out first.
I don't know, I'm pretty excited.
I'm trying to persuade you, Soren. Let me at least roll a persuasion roll before you refuse my offer. It's pretty cool if I do say so myself. I rolled a 19. I start to push Soren with me.
The giant severed the soul from the naked farmer's body, scooping it up with their second set of arms before placing it into the next empty jar, sealing it with a satisfying click as the corpse fell in a heap. The winnower of souls then looked at the group with the casual curiosity that a seasoned city guard might have to a potential trespasser.
Just where are you going?
Oh, yeah, he has an appointment. And we were just running a little bit behind in this house, and we just needed to take the secret back door that normally is in these type of places. We're gonna take that and we'll come back later.
We'll bring him back. We'll bring him right back.
Ildrex required a deception check.
Can I assist?
Please do, because my first roll was a 4.
I have a 19 natural.
The winnower didn't trust Ildrex, but as both sets of eyes shifted to Glom, the human politely bowed, which brought a smile to the winnower's face.
Yeah, we'll have him right back.
That's acceptable. However, you're going the wrong way. You need to take that door, the brass one.
Oh!
There's a secret to opening it. Let me get that for you.
Oh, thanks so much.
No problem at all. Have a pleasant meeting with the Chimera. They do so hate to wait.
The team stepped through the doorway, quickly.
Shoving Soren, who's glancing backwards at me.
Oh, come on.
The door closed behind them before they could take in the next room. A familiar space, a spacious, empty 2-story bar, which housed numerous booths and a small stage along the back wall that was roped off with a sign that read, "No music after dark" in common. But there was no fire in the hearth, and all sense of belonging and welcome had been stripped from this place. The room was familiar, yet altogether different somehow. It looked like the inn where Squabin's birthday had taken place. But darkness permeated every corner, warping the room's proportions and obscuring the world beyond its windows. A flickering row of candles at the bar illuminated the creature, also familiar, also alien, seated at the middle stool, which slowly turned to face them. Its features were a mix of pink and gray flesh, with patches of brass-colored scales, long and short flowing and fraying hair, red, black, gray, horns, and part of a blonde beard cut at chin length as if by a dagger. One eye was steel blue, the other matched Glom's reflection, and the clothes it wore were a clear combination of the party's own fashion, including a dagger, bow, short sword, and flask. The visible ear was almost as pointed as its visible teeth. Ildrex reasoned that this must be the Chimera, a sort of shapeshifter formed by giants, or some creature altogether new to Ildrex that the name simply fit. Taking a swig from its flask, it regarded the team with interest, those still seated, speaking in a voice that felt familiar to everyone. "Welcome to the madhouse."
Look, we're just trying to get out of here. Wherever here is. You can either help us with that, or get out of the way.
If you want to leave, that can be arranged, but you'll miss out on the fun. The Chimera blinked a second set of eyelids as it leaned forward, and as Ildrex regarded his surroundings, they had shifted slightly to resemble the village he'd called home, cushioning the chairs with fine furs and draping the curtains in familiar hides from beasts he knew the stories of.
Now I'm even more unsure what's going on here. At first, I thought you might try to attack us or something, but I feel a bit more at home now.
That chair looks really comfortable.
It's very comfortable and sort of took a long time to make. It's perfectly suited to folk like myself, with tails. Yeah.
So how about we make a bargain? I shall not descend upon you, shall not pluck your eyes, shall not delicately ply your skin from the red beneath, shall not suck the marrow from your bones. If you will make a trade with me, each of you can willingly give me a memory, and in kind I shall return one in its place, and let you pass without harm.
Do not trust such a devil's bargain.
Yep, no problem.
Really?
We're good.
Then what memory would you like to offer, Glom of House Vogelberg?
Anything to do with my dad.
Gaelle opened her mouth to protest, but all at once Glom began to forget his father, the way he drank, the things he would say, the accident. And instead, he found himself focusing on a different memory, one where he had desired to be a knight more than anything in the world. And in his enthusiasm in a play fight with a friend, an 8-year-old named Edgar swung a wooden sword a little bit too well, striking Edgar in the neck. The boy fell, convulsing, and before Glom could even realize the extent of what had happened, the convulsions ceased. Edgar was dead, and Glom wished he was as well. In the moment, in his state of panic, Glom fled, and Edgar's body was never found, a secret he had never told anyone and never would speak of again. Gaelle, who was unaware of what had just transpired, stepped in front of Glom.
Just a second, brother.
Yeah.
I'd like a word before you make such a deal.
Sorry, hold on just a second.
And how did that creature know your name?
That's a good point.
You never told them.
Yeah.
I have an idea, but you're...
A door on the upper floor was suddenly visible as the darkness receded. Glom may pass. Who is next?
I'll make the deal.
Klymoore stepped forward and whispered to the Chimera, which nodded firmly before its eyes blinked again. Klymoore may pass.
Well, what are you waiting for?
Everyone else?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Make this deal. It's fanciful, but at its core, it's a simple transaction. Let us continue our journey with haste.
Friend, so, just to be clear, if we make this deal, you take a memory and you perhaps give us something different, better, worse, whatever. And then we're good? We can just go?
The Chimera nodded.
And if we don't, what happens?
You really won't want to find out, Ildrex.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Sure, let's do it then. I'll offer my memory of burning Glom.
And though Ildrex could tell that the Chimera was offended from such a meager offering, Ildrex could no longer remember that incident.
Perfect.
As it was instead replaced with a different memory, one Ildrex could not remember how he'd forgotten until now. A few years ago, Ildrex had met a sea elf whose name meant of the sunlit depths. They quickly became friends, lovers, and they were set to be married. However, Ildrex's nephew was a jealous brat who'd grown into a jealous man, and before they could be married, his nephew had poisoned Ildrex's fiancée. In a fit of rage, Ildrex murdered his nephew and left his home by the sea. He vowed on that day never to return to the ocean again. Ildrex may pass.
All right, well, that was an experience. Thank you.
It was actually really easy, wasn't it, Ildrex?
Super easy. Not regretting life choices at all. Okay.
I feel a lot better.
Good, I'm glad.
Like I'm less duplicitous.
You know, I feel like I have a part of me that I never want to speak about ever again to anyone.
Oh, I have one too.
Yeah? That's cool.
Yeah.
Gaelle is going to step forward and offer a memory of being taken away from her brother.
All at once, Gaelle forgot ever leaving her brother. She had, in fact, always been with him after all, right? But there was a little bit of time when she'd taken a small journey without Glom to have her son. And how she hated that boy. Gentry Hull had never impressed her, not once. She knew she'd make a terrible parent, but she didn't know that a child could turn out this poorly. He was just never good at anything. Every time she handed Gentry a task, she knew she was setting the boy up to fail again, and each time he went out to look for wood or berries, or even to tell his sister to come inside, somehow this creative brat would find a way to disappoint her.
Wow.
She wasn't a monster, though. Gaelle felt remorse at having these feelings. But this useless child would never amount to anything and might not even grow to be self-sufficient by the time he was in his teens. Gods. She sometimes even found herself wishing that the boy could be polished off by the next plague. And these thoughts made her realize just how terrible of a person she might be. As Gaelle visibly stared at a wall for a few moments before passing the Chimera, the old grandmother sneered before going next, and Soren began to weigh his options.
Oh, I'm tempted. Still, Soren is coming out of a fog still, but he's determined, walks forward and just says, "The child."
Soren forgot the face of the child he'd shot by mistake while within the domain of a nameless god. Forgot that he'd ever pulled the string in that moment. And Soren found himself thinking of his own childhood, the memories that this transaction had sparked to the foreground, his small home by the rocky shore, and the small house his family shared. Soren remembered why he'd chosen to forget these memories for so long, as the sneering face of his father came into view, the short gray and red beard wrestling under hurled insults that preceded thrown objects. Soren's father hated magic, hated witchcraft, and Soren had shown signs of certain talents as a child. predilections that infuriated the old man. The abuse started long before his father had lost his post with House Vogelberg, and only got worse after Mother died. Soren did his best to make his father happy, but he was admittedly a bit of a slow learner, a bit too feminine for his father, a bit of a flirt with boys who didn't understand his feelings, and responded with a violence that Soren was only too happy to reciprocate. A language his household was fluent. But these scuffles only seemed to make his father more angry. It was around this time that his sister started to visit him, to offer help, to read bedtime stories, to offer a reprieve during the darker nights. How had he forgotten her visits? While he slept, she read books on magic, and cleaned and drank, and tried on all manner of dresses. And while she slept, he did all the things that father wanted him to do. He was a good son. And Gaelle? She wasn't bad, but she got into trouble. All sorts of trouble that got blamed on Soren. And yet whenever Soren was going to get punished, Gaelle was there to take responsibility, to shield him from that responsibility. Until one night, when father caught Gaelle reading a spell book, a secret book Mother had given them. That was a bad night, and Soren couldn't watch Gaelle be hurt that badly, so Soren didn't dwell on that night, and in the following weeks, he remembered watching Gaelle try on Mother's dresses while he tended to his sickly father. Father died, eventually, and for the funeral pyre, Soren used his favorite book of childhood legends to start the fire. The book that included the recent exploits of the infamous pirate captain Gaelle Vogelberg. He always liked that name, Gaelle. And as he stared into the mirror, donning his father's nicest cloak, a stolen signet ring in service to House Vogelberg, and a red wig, Gaelle burned down their family house for good measure before booking them passage to the mainland. House Fife was looking for heroes. Now in the present, a woman suddenly stood beside Soren. Her round face was pensive at first, but she smiled at him reassuringly.
Are you done then, Soren? Did you make the deal?
I think I feel better, but I'm not really sure. I'm just frankly glad to have you around, Gaelle.
You may pass.
If we wanted to come back and do this again, how do we get here?
Let's go, Glom.
Okay, sorry.
Yep. No more to see here. Thank you.
The team's collective stress levels rose as Ildrex glanced from Glom to Soren curiously, and they continued with haste through the door ahead, ready for whatever hells this place had in store next. Dark Dice, Chapter 23, The Chimera's Bargain, featuring Peter Joseph Lewis as Soren Arkwright, Holly Billinghurst and Sean Howard as Gaelle and Glom Vogelberg, Russ D. Moore as Ildrex, and featuring Robert Clotworthy as Klymoore, Ryan McQuinn as the Manic Farmer, Andreas Somville as Torturée, Dayn Leonardson as the Winnower, Charlotte Norup as Graham, and Travis Vengroff as the Chimera and Game Master. This episode was produced and edited with sound design by Travis Vengroff, mixing and mastering by Finnur Nielsen, and features executive producers Dennis Greenhill, Maico Villegas, AJ Pumpkin, and Carol Vengroff. This episode featured music by Andre Vidonogrov, Neil Martin, Travis Vengroff, Austin Wintory, Hitoshi Sakamoto, Brandon Boone, Dayn Leonardson, and Stephen Malin. To help support this show, please check out patreon.com, and please check out our new website, darkdice.com, now complete with new merch. We're also making Dungeons & Dragons content on TikTok as Fool and Scholar. Dark Dice is a Fool and Scholar production. Thank you for listening.